We are delighted to announce that we are taking legal steps really to protect the residents in this area and call for fairness. It was almost 6 months ago that we stood in front of this very single house announcing our plans to submit paperwork to the FAA regarding the amount of flights that are taking place in this area. Anybody who knows and is familiar with this region knows that these planes not only are flying incredibly much lower, it's clearly evident, the hazardous air pollution as a result, then the residents have endured this for far too long. Both JFK and LaGuardia are really become tremendous traffic hubs, but the nuances and the problems that are now affecting the residents in these areas need to be addressed. Everybody wants everything to function at top quality. But there is an issue of just the quality of life. And the simple answer isn't, we're going to have more planes coming to JFK, more cargo, this, that, and not considering the people who live here, who bought their house here decades ago. It's a delicate balance, and the FAA has lost sight of that balance as far as we're concerned.
It's no secret that the problem of airplane noise has plagued our communities for more than 20 years. There is perhaps no other issue that has generated as much controversy or complaint, and virtually everyone has something to say about it. Residents have been treated to a steady stream of letter-writing campaigns, noise studies, public hearings, and dreaded Town-Village Aircraft Safety and Noise Abatement Committee, TVASNAC, meetings, all to no avail. Nothing has changed. In fact, the problem has only gotten worse. So when Supervisor Claveman approached me about a plan to pursue litigation, I felt a great sense of relief and, more important, hope. Supervisor Claveman is the force that brought both our towns together to fight the FAA, and I'm most grateful that he did. Two towns walking in lockstep is certainly better than one acting alone. We acknowledge that we live in the path of two of the nation's busiest airports, and we acknowledge that litigation should be a last resort. But after years of good faith efforts being ignored, our residents have arrived at that juncture. At stake is their quality of life, and more alarming, their overall well-being. And as their elected representatives, we will not stand idly by.
Residents have seen flights overhead every 90 seconds, 90,000 a year, 80,000 a year over the past couple of years. So this is a new issue, actually. As you can see by this graph, flights arriving on 22L, which is the runway at issue, have exploded recently. And why is that? What FAA will tell you is that it's a safety issue, that they need planes to land into the wind. I will tell you that is nonsense. Planes have landed at JFK for decades, and yet flights to runway 22L have exploded just in the past couple of years. Why is FAA using runway 22L and the flight paths in this manner if it's not wind? The reason is it allows them to use JFK most efficiently to get planes in the air. Well, that's nice for JFK and the airlines. FAA is required to consider impacts to people on the ground, the residents of the towns. They failed to do that. That is unlawful. They violated their mandatory duties. We have filed this morning the petition for a writ of mandamus with the Circuit Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia to have the court force FAA to respond to our initial petition and our concerns, to pull back on use of the flight paths, and in the interim to conduct an environmental review to consider the very serious issues that we've identified.
People live here. This is a safety, this is a quality of life issue, and just we're asking for fairness. And unfortunately, we have to go to this court because they just don't want to respond. And there's nothing more frustrating than dealing with any of these entities when they don't want to respond, because you know what? There's a reason they're not responding.